Hey everyone, Mr. MSA here. This is a guide for pre-season round 5 of the Manufacturer series. Let's get this started. For this first turn, look for this line that is going across the track. You'll brake right after you pass it, so you'll brake as much as you can, ease off the brakes as you turn in, get that car to rotate as quickly as possible so you can accelerate as fast as you can. You can take these next two turns at full throttle, but for the right-hander, you can go over the sausage curb, just make sure it goes through the middle of the car. Then brake right after the curb on the right starts. You'll brake as much as you can for a short moment, then ease off on the brakes. Slowly start to accelerate so you don't end up on the grass, and then start to brake before you reach this orange barrier that is on the left. Get the car to rotate, but stay on the left side of the track. Ease off the throttle for a quick moment to get the car to rotate through this final turn and start to accelerate. And that is all for this lap guide. Let's go ahead and talk about the strategies. For the qualifying strategy, the moment you're out of the pit stop, you want to start to fuel burn. So what you're going to do is accelerate as much as you can, then apply just enough braking so you don't hit the rev limiter. Even though the qualifying session is 5 minutes long, that is more than enough time to do a couple of laps burning fuel and enough to do 1 or even 2 flying laps. Something to note is that as you go through the S's, the first turn or the last couple of turns, if you notice that there are cars coming behind you that are doing a flying lap, you want to speed up your car a little bit to make sure that it is clear so you don't get in their way and interrupt their qualifying times. So if someone was coming through the final turns, then I'll just try to speed up a little bit, then bring myself next to the pit wall, and I will be out of their way. So you're going to do your first lap burning fuel, start your second lap burning fuel, and come in to the pit stop to get a new set of racing soft tires. So now we're on lap 3, and we're going to fuel burn this lap and also get the car ready to do the flying lap, which will be lap number 4. At this time, you also want to look for a friend to get behind, as a slipstream will play a bit of a difference in getting a better lap time. So as you see here, I'm wiggling the car a little bit, just trying to get those tires warmed up. And you'll want to start your flying lap when you reach the hairpin just before the final turn. So as you go through here, that is when you go into race pace mode, bring yourself to the left, and basically just go at it. Don't forget to give yourself and the person in front of you a bit of space so you don't end up slipstreaming right into their back bumper and have to slow yourself down. So just go ahead and complete your lap, and depending on when you came out of the pit stop for the qualifier and how you manage your time, it is possible to do one more qualifying lap just before the initial 5 minutes are up. So I do another qualifying lap. This one wasn't as fast as my first flying lap, and we get a 47.2, so that's pretty good. So in summary, fuel burn for the first 2 laps, come into the pit stop at the end of your second lap, fuel burn on your third lap, and then do a flying lap for your fourth lap, and if possible, your fifth lap as well. For the race strategy, you want to think about going with a one-stop strategy. Interestingly, racing soft tires are required, so for cars with good to decent tire wear rates, you'll be fine just doing a one-stop with starting on racing soft tires and ending on a new set of racing soft tires. If your car is harsh on its tires, you can start on racing medium tires, then switch on over to racing soft tires around the halfway point of the race. I'll talk more about that in a bit. And if you do a 2-stop, you risk getting left behind, as you will be spending more time in the pit stop, and there's the added risk of coming out of the pit stop into traffic, which will make it a bit harder to salvage the positions that you lost during your time in the pit stop. This is a fuel saving race, so you want to make sure that you have just enough fuel to be able to complete the race, but as well as be able to make a little push towards the end of the race to grab another position or to secure your position. To do this, the most you have to do, at least in the Cayman GT4, is just short shift. Just shift when the bar on the bottom of the screen is around halfway full, and that should get you enough fuel to make a push on the final few laps. If you want to save a little extra fuel, you can bring the fuel mapping to 2 for these last couple of turns, but other than that, you should be fine just shifting when the bar is halfway full or even a little more before it, depending on how your car is with its fuel economy. If you're behind someone, you'll be able to save a bit more fuel that way as well. Do be aware that this track is pretty heavy on the left-handed turns, so your right tires will be experiencing the most wear. So at the end of lap 14, I'm going to go ahead and pit in as my right tires are pretty much worn out, and just go in for a new set of racing soft tires. I have enough fuel to finish the race, and actually I have just a little bit extra fuel to make a push on the final few laps. So as we're on the second to last lap, I see that I still have quite a bit of fuel to work with, so I'm going to go ahead and start pushing it a bit more. So now I'm shifting when the bar on the bottom of the screen is 75% full or around that area, and on the last lap, if I'm confident that I'll be able to finish the race without having to worry about running out of fuel, then I'll go ahead and just rev out the car, just try to unleash its full potential. So we're just going to go through the last couple of turns, and I'm at 10% fuel, so I should be able to finish the race even if I go all out. So we're just going to fast forward through this, just showing how I go about the final lap. Just going all out, just revving the car out, just go through these turns, make sure I don't bottle it, and that's pretty much it for this race. So I finished with 5% fuel remaining, and that's alright. I think I could have pushed it a bit more on lap 27, because that's when I started to push the car a bit more, but either way, I think that's alright. So the racing medium into soft tire strategy. This is again for cars with really harsh tire wear, or if your driving style is a bit harsh on its tires. And in this case, I'm using a car that probably has one of the worst tire rates that I've ever seen. So I'm starting on racing medium tires on the Peugeot RCZ. Hopefully I'm saying that right. And right away, one of the problems is that there's a car that is all over me. Obviously, they're on racing soft tires because their car, the BMW M4, is a lot better on its tires than my car is. And because of that, they're going to pressure the heck out of me and try to force me into a mistake, or unless they want to pass me here. I mean, that works too. So while this car is pretty good on acceleration, this car absolutely stinks when it comes to turning. So this car will understeer quite a bit when braking or accelerating because it's pretty front heavy since the engine is in the front of the car, and especially when you're accelerating, it's using the front tires while you're turning at the same time, and that just creates a lot of understeer. The front tires also spin quite a bit, especially if you're on the racing medium tires, so that's going to give your car even more tire wear. And eventually, you're just going to find yourself in trouble really quickly, just as I do here. The BMW breaks through, there's two Alfa Romeo 4Cs just hanging out right behind me, and they're eventually going to pass me. So this is what I mean by the Peugeot being harsh on its tires. I'm on racing medium tires, and its front tires are already gone. So on lap 15, this will be my in lap, but I just can't do much about it. I'm just going to understeer for days, and yeah, that's the unfortunate thing about it. And also, you want to start on racing medium tires because your car is going to be full of fuel at the start of the race, so it's going to increase the tire wear a little bit. And when you switch on over to racing soft tires, your car will have used about half of its fuel, so it'll be a bit lighter on its tire wear. But because we're in a front engine front wheel drive car, the tire wear is still going to be a problem, especially towards the end of the race. And once again, if your car is very good or decent on its tire wear, go from racing soft to racing soft. If your car is harsh on its tires, do racing medium into racing soft. And for whichever strategy you do, just make sure you save fuel by shifting when the bar on the bottom of the screen is halfway full or even just a little bit before it, depending on your car's fuel economy. But that's it for this guide. I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. So this is Mr. MCA wishing you a good race, and I'll see you in the next video.